Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk The Division. Welcome back to another Visual Veils. I'm your host, Sheldon Jones, and today I'm going to be talking to you about The Division. Yes, it started for PS4 owners on Friday, and we got the chance to get into it. Well, me personally, because this was my first time actually playing the beta, and I was shocked. Well, there's one thing that no one has actually even talked about. It was just the intro. When you get into the game, the sound, this little music, those little touches. I like when games do that, and they create the atmosphere and they get you involved. And boy, was I involved this past weekend. I actually fell in love with this game. And all the base of operations, not so much, but the game at its core, I found it to be great. A lot of people will disagree with me on this opinion, but I'm going to tell you, I'm hopefully by the end of this, I'll persuade you on why I'm excited about this game. This area where I'm at right now is actually the base of operations. And yes, it looks kind of dingy, but that's actually the point. It's a center that is pretty much bad on its luck. They need supplies, technology, pretty much anything they can get so they can get back to on their feet. Because, well, based on the storylines, something happened on Black Friday where literally a catastrophe happened. And as a result, you, the soldier, is trying to rectify that situation. In the beta that we had from Friday to Sunday, there wasn't really a lot of information when it comes to the story on where it's going, which is which is good because this is a beta. They don't want to give you everything, so I didn't mind that. But this also made me think about why am I picking up this game? Is it just really going to be a brainless shooter like a lot of games are nowadays? But what I did like was the areas that you can go to. I loved how the designers made it. I don't know. They somehow made the city vibrant, and you always wanted to discover what new locations you can get to. Um, from the beta, there are a lot of buildings that you actually do not have access into. Hopefully, that's just in the beta because I was really hoping that this game where is going to be more like where you can go into every single building and check out the houses and scavenge for stuff. The sense of scavenging in this game, I didn't really get that sense of that. But I know that's just a preference. Some people don't want that constantly looking for loot, but I like that experience personally. After an hour playing into the game, I was able to get to level 5, and as you can see, my starting gear, where a good majority of it was green, so a little bit more decent than the normal gear, which would be in the white that you would see on the screen. Flash forward to level 8, you can tell by when I go into my inventory that my gear has drastically changed. I'm able to get blues, purples, greens, and still have a little bit of white still in there too, but I was getting drastically better gear that you would not even get in Destiny, which would take literally days in order to get gear like that. So hopefully this is a continuous thing that's going to be happening in the full game. I just hope that this is not something that just maybe change just for the beta so people can have a little bit more of an experience of what's going to happen for the current game. But I am happy, to say the least. A friend of mine brought up a problem that he had about this game. He didn't like the fact that you were constantly running to different locations. Me, I personally don't mind it. I find if there are vehicles in this game, it's going to be very close to Grand Theft Auto, and I actually don't like that game. Uh, a lot of people uh, love that game because just easy access to vehicles and transportation, and all things like that. But to me, I don't mind it. I feel it will take away from the game if there are vehicles in this game. Uh, my friend suggested motorcycles. Motorcycles, I can agree on. Anything else bigger than that, I can see there'd be problems. You'd have all these people just crashing into vehicles and blocking the streets, and you're just causing a situation, and we don't want a Grand Theft Auto situation on our hands. So hopefully Ubisoft does not go in that direction. As a result of me walking to locations, I was able to discover just like places like sewers and other areas that I wanted to investigate. A few that were pretty much closed off to the beta, and made me wonder: are these places where they're going to be dungeons? Had all these questions coming in my head, and that's what excites me. It makes me believe that there is content here. Hopefully not in expansions, but in the actual full game. What do I mean when I say this? I'm gonna take Destiny as an example because once you finish the story missions on Earth and Venus and on Mars, it the the game just is dead. There's nothing to do except wait, and that's exactly what people waited when it came to Destiny. Um, you had to wait for the expansions for the material to be there for you to get engrossed and back into the game. I really hope that Ubisoft doesn't do this, like learn from that company's mistakes, because literally they every expansion that comes out, yes, the game gets better for Destiny, but you see how much content they actually took out from the original game. So hopefully this is not the case. Um, when it comes to fighting, the shooter gameplay mechanics, I I enjoyed it. Aiming was a bit hard for me to get to get used to in this game, but it also could be because in this game the first guns that you have they pretty much suck. But when you especially when I was around level 8, um, that's when I started to become, I don't know, more. I had my preferences. I knew which guns I wanted to take around with me. I was always leaning towards an ACR or a rifle, and that sense of progression was there. So I do like that about this in this game. But this also gave light to a problem that I had about this game. When this game, it also suffers the same problem as Destiny. When you're playing alone, it is not fun. Um, they've said or Ubisoft has said to many people that you can play this game by yourself, but um, I just did not enjoy it at all playing by myself. Uh, it suffers what Destiny has though. Well, like especially with Destiny when it comes to the raids or even doing strikes like Nightfall. If you're really really good, yes, you'll be able to complete it. But if you're an average gamer, maybe plays on their console or PC, maybe 6 hours in a week, you're gonna have a hard time making major progression into this game, because I do believe this game will have dungeons in it, and I don't see how you're gonna be able to one man a dungeon by yourself unless you're the elites of the world who are literally spending thousands and thousands of hours practicing your craft, and you're doing headshots for days. But for the average guy, no, it's not going to be fun for you if you're playing by yourself. Um, yeah, it's the company that you're with that helps the situation. Um, when it comes to the PvP, I feel like Ubisoft needs to address this. When your turret, when you get that skill and your turret is on, if another player is in the vicinity and they walk around it while there's enemies and they get hit at, you will immediately go rogue, and that's something that Ubisoft needs to address. Um, Trust me, it's not pleasant when you're trying to play as a moral player. You're not trying to kill people around here, and you're with a group of people, and they're not looking to get rogue. and then an incident happens, and then your team is just running from everybody on the map, trying to find a safe haven in order for your team to survive. And I don't know how many times that's happened. Um, I'm hearing stories all over the place. Hopefully, Ubisoft fixes this, but there's some time. So hopefully, there's an update, a patch that will come out, so that doesn't happen. A perfect example is what's going to happen right here. Uh, a grenade is thrown, and you can see that there's flames on the floor. So I immediately thought that one of those players was going to attack us during the extraction. So I put a turret down, and as a result, my team goes rogue, and now everyone's going to kill us. And it's just like if you if you don't want to go rogue, you shouldn't. This shouldn't happen. And also, yes, when you get killed in this game, the penalties are pretty harsh. You get your gear stolen, and sometimes there's an animation where some guy just punch you in your face, and your Dark Soul rank, it decreases by a tremendous amount. I really hope that Ubisoft fixes this. I feel the penalties are just a little too harsh. Maybe decrease it by maybe 100 Dark Soul points, not in the thousands. It's sometimes it's ridiculous. I've ranked down at least 3 times in this game. Maybe that just tells you how my playing skills is when it comes to shooters, but I had a hard time. What the Division does better than Destiny is the sense of you progressing with your guns. I remember when Destiny was first mentioned, and we got to see the alphas, and we saw a lot of the devs talk about you'd be able to play the game with one gun from beginning to end of the game, and I never got that sense about that in Destiny. In this game, there's more of that sense, but you do have to uh, level up in order to use better guns. So you will not be using a gun that you got from level 4 all the way down to when you're level 20 or level 25 in the near future. But what you can do that you cannot do in Destiny is that you can mod your gun. You can add a silencer. You can add different scopes. You can add different magazines. And this is what I want in a game. I'm glad that this is what they're doing. Um, it really gives you the sense that you are making your gun your own. You're seeing what preferences you want in a gun, and yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all I have to say about the Division beta. As of now, I am getting this game day one. I am I am pleased with the beta. Hopefully, you guys are. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one. You have been watching Visual Veils, and hopefully, I will see you in the Dark Zone.